How is everybody? It's kind of late tonight. Welcome to episode 3 of Please Remain Seated. I'll be your host for the evening. Big surprise, I know. 6-foot cowboy, Jason Price. I think we'll have fun tonight. So much to go over. Today's been a strange day. I spent way too much of it arguing with a neoliberal. Let me tell you, that is not pleasant. It's sort of like trying to put wet swim trunks back on. And if you've ever done that, it is not fun. Anyway, it went well, in my opinion, though, because I made my points, and hopefully the individual can get over her anger from the conversation. Now, moving on. This weekend's been pretty cool. I got to do a few things that were interesting that I want to share with you, but before we get into my activities, I want to talk briefly about the Mueller report. I mean, what a disaster for the left. I just can't believe how poorly it went. You know what the kicker was for me? The real kicker for me was when Bill Maher and Michael Moore, two card-carrying poster boys of liberalism, both jumped off the ship. Both tweeted separately that this was a disaster. The Democrats have lost. It's horrible. Bill Maher put it well. He said, you may still win the election, but I wouldn't bet on you with my money. Classic Maher. And I just think that the Democrats, with this swing to the far left, to the neoliberalism and the socialism, they are just crumbling from within. And I've never seen anything like it. So I think Trump is, of course, clearly in the driver's seat for the election, and the Mueller disaster just put him that much further ahead. So I look for this gap to widen and really turn into an absolute runaway victory for Trump. Whether you like that or not, whether I like that or not, I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, because I just don't see any other way that this could go. I really don't. I'm glad to see that Joe Rogan is back. He took an Italian vacation over the week, and he was gone, so we haven't had any JRE podcasts, so I'm glad he's back. He actually did a podcast this week with my favorite liberal, and I'm not kidding, Dr. Cornel West, Harvard professor. He is just a great intellectual, and I really enjoyed him on Joe's podcast. Of course, I don't agree with all of his ideals, but I tell you what, he is far from a neoliberal, and he is one of the truly great thinkers of our generation. So it was a great podcast. I do think Joe threw him some softballs. I encourage you to go watch it. I wanted Joe to reach out on topics like the fascism that's apparent in the far left, the Antifa movement and other things, you know, the attacking of physical violence that we're seeing from the far left. But Joe kind of kept it pretty mundane. But, like my colleague said, Dr. West was controlling the interview also, so you can't really blame Joe for that. But bravo for Dr. West being on JRE. It was a great episode. And like I was telling someone today, you've got to look at all sides. If you are only looking at articles and news that agrees with your political stance, then you are on the path to neoliberalism or neoconservatism. You've got to look at all angles of issues, everyone. Please hear me on that. It's so important. So important. I mean, it was apparent in the argument I had with the neoliberal today. The individual just obviously is only drinking from that Kool-Aid packet. And that's no way to be. And you're listening to a guy right now that knows firsthand, because in 2004, there was no bigger Democrat than me. And you couldn't have told me anything. And that was a flawed way of being. And I've learned that through my work. I've learned that through being more well-read. And of course, I was ushered out of the Democratic circles by the movement to the far left, like we see today. So this is not something I'm not familiar with. Look at issues from all sides. And just know that right now, if I have any liberals listening, you are exemplifying exactly what you claim to be against. You are fascism. You are fascism. You are divisiveness. You are everything you say you're not for. So take a hard look. I did Google the Democratic platform, and it was 3 words. If you Google, 2004, Democrats had a 20-page platform dealing with issues, top to bottom, social, economic. If you look at the Democratic National Platform right now, you see 3 words. Orange man bad. That's their whole platform. Look it up. Orange man bad. That's also all you hear in the debate, although every 30 minutes they say it in Spanish as well. Orange man bad. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit more about why the Democrats have imploded so quickly, aside from the Mueller report. Well, in my opinion, they have no leader. They have no one with charisma. Barack is gone. Barack had the charisma, whether you agree with him or not. He was a leader. He's gone. There's no one out there. Of course, they're distancing themselves from the Clintons, but they have no leader. The party is fractured. I just can't wait for these next round of debates, because we're going to see more just absolutely deplorable activities by what they talk about. They don't talk about issues that matter. Look, I hate to bring up this early, but let's look at the worst candidate, Beto. Beto is atrocious, folks. This guy has 0 policy stances. 0. You get your butt kicked in your own district, and then you run for president with no policy stances? Good Lord. What have we really come to? It really is just amazing that this guy thinks he can win. That he thinks he can win. It really is amazing. I want to switch gears for a minute. I guess it was Thursday. I went to Ardmore, Oklahoma. And by the way, if you don't know, I'm in the great state of Oklahoma, to see one of my favorite rock bands, Bishop Gunn. See my hat, Gunn? Well, out of this small southern rock band called Bishop Gunn, they're out of Natchez, Mississippi. And boy, do they put on a great show. I went to the Two Frogs Grill in Ardmore, which, by the way, wasn't the best in terms of handicap accessibility, but the staff was wonderful. The show was great. The food was great. I had crawfish and frog legs. And, if you've not had frog legs, have you even lived until you've carefully pulled a frog's femur out of your mouth while you ate your dinner. I mean, it's a must do. It's a must do. Had a great time. Had a great time at the concert. Met the band afterwards. Got an autographed record. Enjoyed that. And by the way, I also enjoyed the opening act. This man out of Dallas called Atlantis Aquarius. So I urge you to look at both of these bands. Atlantis Aquarius, they look like they were straight out of the 60s. I mean, time machine. If you Google these guys and look at their photos, wow, straight out of a time machine. But they were great. They were kind of like psychedelic. I don't know, like, I hate to liken them to somebody, but they were excellent as well. And Bishop Gunn, these guys are just fantastic. They've been called the Aerosmith of the South by several people. They told me they just got word that they are opening for the Rolling Stones. And that already happened, by the way. That was on Saturday night in Houston at Reliance Stadium. They opened for the Rolling Stones. And that came about, I briefly talked with the band. They told me that came about because the Rolling Stones were filming a video in Natchez, and they saw the band play, or members of the band. So, wow, that's cool. Bishop Gunn from Two Frogs Grill, 48 hours later, opening for the Rolling freaking Stones. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mean, not as amazing as knowing that Mick Jagger's 400 years old and still performing. That's more amazing. But there's quite a bit of amazing on this whole fact that Bishop Gunn is the opening act. So check these bands out. Bishop Gunn and Atlantis Aquarius. Great folks and great music. All right, guys. So what else is going on? Lindsay Shepherd. So one of my I told you about my favorite liberal, Dr. Cornel West. Now I'm going to tell you about my favorite. I don't even want to really call him conservative, but I guess he's a conservative in the way that Cornel West is a liberal. These guys are still great thinkers. And so my favorite conservative intellectual would be Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson, you may know him from his book, The 12 Rules for Life. Profound book. And he's just a profound intellectual. I surely hope you'll look him up, check that book out. But this weekend he got on Twitter and told us about Lindsay Shepherd. Lindsay Shepherd is a college student in, I want to say, somewhere on the West Coast. Lindsay has been going through a battle with one of her fellow students, I guess. It appears Lindsay is an independent conservative journalist, and she does her own YouTube videos, and she got into some type of an argument with a fellow student who was trans. And the trans student argued with her because she covered a rally that the trans student organized. But all she did, according to what she's saying, is cover it and report that it was going on. And she was called names from the stage and all sorts of horrible things. I don't know the specifics, but from that, this individual filed a complaint, said he was uncomfortable around her, and wanted her to be removed from the school. She won that investigation. She did not have to leave school, but I felt bad for her because the investigation nearly derailed her education. So what I don't like to see is anyone, whether it's disability, whether it's whatever it is, when you simply use the system, weaponize the system to get back at an adversary. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Again, I don't know the specifics, but essentially, in his complaint, which he read on a YouTube video, he was referencing a lot of comments by Lindsay's followers, which obviously she can't control, so that was unfortunate. But the good news is she did not lose her status at school. She's still doing her independent journalism stuff, and that's great. Journalism, the lost art. I'm a journalist. That's what I got my bachelor's degree in. I'm a writer. I love talking, obviously. I love using my cool cerebral palsy accent. But I love to write more. Writing is what I do. Words are what I live by. I'm a word guy, plain and simple. So journalism is almost dead. The left controls the mainstream media. Oh, it just breaks my heart. Where's Dan Rather? Where's Walter Cronkite? They're gone. They're gone. And the mainstream media is now pushing the agenda of the far left. Unfortunately. So unfortunate. When I went to journalism school, the first day I was eager, wanted to show how talented I was, those sorts of things. I was at Northeastern State University, and the first day of school, journalism school, the professor said, "Who's a great speller?" And we all raised our hand. We're all writers. We're all writers. We're all great spellers. And she said, "Okay, who can spell barbecue?" And by the way, that's the name of this episode. Can you spell barbecue? I could, but not many others. I think there were maybe 3 of us, maybe, at the most. But I'm telling you this so you can win a trivia contest next time you're at the sports bar or something, or the wherever you go, the flower shop or the liberal idea exchange, or wherever you spend your evenings. You can win a trivia contest spelling the word barbecue. BARBECUE. There's no Q, folks. There's no Q. Take that Q and get it out of here. Take your Q and go home. Because there's no Q in barbecue. It's a C. And I don't care how your favorite restaurant spells it, they're doing it wrong. So there you go. Spell barbecue correctly. And watch your life get better immediately. All right. So moving on, there's some other issues I want to cover. This is not going to be the longest episode because I've got so much I'm trying to get done today. But I do want to go over a few things. And this is probably going to be a recurring topic. But hear me out. Handicap parking. If you don't need it, don't seek it. If you don't need it, don't seek it. If you don't need it, don't seek it. It's getting so hard to park anywhere because everybody has a handicap sign. Everybody's got grandma's little blue header there on their rearview mirror. If you don't need it, don't seek it. This is approaching crisis level. Make handicap parking for the handicapped again. That's what my hat needs to say. Because we can't find anywhere to park our vans, guys. We just can't because everybody's got a damn handicap parking sign. What is going on? What is going on? And then we still have people that are abusing the spots and using them when they don't have a sign. So frustrating. Going to Walmart, I might as well just roll up there from my house because it's likely going to be impossible to park anywhere. So I'm advocating right now that we need a new type of parking. I don't know if we call it advanced age parking or people that have an alley parking, but something's got to change because the truly disabled cannot find a place to park as it currently stands. It's just, it's getting ridiculous. It really is. So I want to see that really change. I do. I want there to be adequate parking for people that require it. Now let me make sure you understand this. My van cannot park if you are in the spot. My van cannot park if all the handicap spots are taken. Simply can't park. Something's got to change. This is ridiculous. It really is. What else is going on? I want to talk a little bit about divisiveness. I said earlier that I am a word guy, and I am. Divisiveness oftentimes shows up in the form of words. And I want to talk a little bit about a two-word phrase. That phrase is, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I hear this a lot. I hear it from more than one group of people, but I do hear it often from colleagues and people in the general public. And let me tell you something. That's a divisive term. That's a divisive term. By its very nature, it says, I'm favored. I'm chosen. I'm a teacher's pet. I don't like it. I don't like it when it's describing yourself. How are you? I'm blessed. How's your day going? I'm blessed. Don't like it, folks. Take me, for example. A guy with cerebral palsy, a guy who was barely made it through birth. I think I weighed 1.5 pounds or something when I was born. Almost didn't live. Every day is a struggle. Every day is harder than its predecessor and will be until I die. Does this mean I'm not blessed? Does this mean I'm not in the providential umbrella of our Lord? I don't think so. But I don't want to hear it. I'm blessed. Think of something different to say. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm a little tired, whatever. But I'm blessed on a shirt. I'm blessed on a phrase that you say. I don't like it. I mean, I just don't like it. It indicates that you're better than someone. And that's not good. That's not good. So I'd like to see that go away. I mean, because I think it promotes divisiveness. I really think it does. God has singled you out for extra favor. That's what you're saying. Or some of you might say, well, no. I'm reminding myself. It's a reminder to myself. If you need a freaking reminder, then you put a sticky note on your dadgum steering wheel, okay? We don't have to hear that all day. We don't have to hear that all day. All right? Beto probably goes around saying that in Spanish all day. Anyway, what else is going on? In sports, I was excited to find out that former UFC middleweight champion Chris Weidman will be making his 205-pound debut on October the 18th. Chris, the All-American Weidman, will be making his debut on October 18th at light heavyweight 205. Fight fans, what do we think about this? I'm excited for it. Why not? I mean, John Jones needs to fight somebody else. You know, he needs to have some new challenges. if we don't do something in the light heavyweight division, he's just going to bring a 205-pound bag of cocaine out there and snort the whole thing to retain his belt. So I'm glad to see Weidman will be moving up to 205 to give that a shot. How will he do? I'm not sure. We'll see in his debut, which, by the way, is against Dominic Reyes, who I believe was a former college football player, if I recall. I think Weidman will be the underdog in that fight. I think he will be the underdog in that fight, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be rooting for him. Weidman's grown on me. I was a big Anderson Silva fan, and I didn't like the whole leg breaking thing, and I kind of blamed Weidman for that. But I watched him as he's conducted himself over the years, and I really became a Weidman fan. So I'm supporting him in this move 205, and I hope he does quite well. I really do. What else is going on? UFC 240 was over the weekend. A real snooze fest of a card, except for a few fights. I just want to touch on Chris Cyborg. Briefly, she was in the co-main event against a relative newcomer, and she almost lost. She got a huge cut on her head from the elbow. She looked sluggish, and let me tell you, if that was Amanda Nunes, she would have got planted in the first round. So Father Time is knocking on Cyborg's door. The bad part is she kind of got backed into a corner afterwards and pretty much now says she wants to fight Nunes again, which is sad because Nunes is going to destroy her again. So I'm not looking forward to seeing that fight because Chris Cyborg can't beat Nunes. I'm not even sure Henry Cejudo could beat Nunes. Henry, don't come after me for saying that, buddy. I'm a big fan. But Nunes is, wow, she is unbelievable. So we'll see what happens. Looking forward to some big fights coming up. What else? I read in the NBA news that basketball players are withdrawing from the Olympic team left and right. Left and right. Makes me sad. Because these guys should view playing for the Olympic team as a great privilege, like the Dream Team did, and several other teams. So I don't know who we're going to have playing for the team in 2020, but as far as I know, LeBron has not pulled out of the team, so we could have LeBron and me and my buddy Fabian, a couple of cerebral palsy killers, and as long as we have LeBron, we could probably win. So that's good news. We have LeBron. Shout out to Fabian. If you're out there, if you're listening to this at work, I hope you're getting a lot done. All right, what else is going on? NBA free agency. What a joke. What a freaking joke. Steve Kerr came out this week and said that Steve Kerr, by the way, is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, who I like to refer to as the Golden Girls. They are a basketball team that managed to take Kevin Durant from us, so I try to find different ways to change their name in hopes that they would get made fun of. But Golden Girls is a bad name because I'm sure the girls listening to this podcast don't want to be associated with that terrible team. So, Golden State Warriors. Yeah, right. They're about as warriors, as much warriors as a newborn baby could be. So, those guys are awful. Anyway, their coach, Steve Kerr, who did play with my guy, Michael Jordan, in the 90s and got a bunch of rings because of that, came out this week and said that the free agency is in crisis. Teams it doesn't matter if you're under contract, guys are calling each other, hey, come play for me. Steve Kerr said it very well. I got to give him credit. He said, If you sign a 4-year contract, you should play that damn 4-year contract out and then go to the other team. Nobody's doing that. Paul George, what a punk, signs a 4-year deal with us, plays 1 year, and then demands to be traded or he won't work for us. He won't play for us because he wants to go to the Clippers. What a punk. Why did we ever trust a guy named Paul George? Paul George? This guy's got both of his names are some of our founding fathers. So he's Paul Revere and George Washington? What's going on here? This guy's a joke. Obviously he's using the strength of his name to hide the fact that he's a big coward who doesn't keep his word. Paul George, I hope you get out there to the Clippers. I hope you go to every single burger place in town looking for the best burger, and I hope you never find it. I hope your In-N-Out experience is the worst In-N-Out experience in the history of California. Because you, sir, are not a man of your word. You're not a man of your word. Touch base on Russell Westbrook. Again, he's now playing for the Houston Rockets. They have announced him as playing, they have had a press conference with him as a Rockets member. I wish him the best. He did that honorably. He knew that him leaving us was a good thing for us overall because we could get as much as we could for him while he was still viable. So my hat's off to Russell Westbrook. And thank you, Coach Kerr. I made fun of the Warriors, but thank you, Coach Kerr. Because yes, NBA free agency is in absolute turmoil and has got to be changed. Because the players have no honor. The players have no commitment to their team like the players in the 90s did. The best decade, the 90s. Woke up every day just feeling amazing. In the 90s, the greatest decade. Michael Jordan would have never even thought of doing this. Switching teams every year like a dadgum team lurker, like a team jumping, non-committal, just an absolute joke. These guys are. So yes, the NBA needs to step in and do something to make people honor their contracts. All right? I don't know what the countdown is to football season, but my dad does remind me that there's a preseason NFL game on August 1st, which I believe is Thursday, so I'm excited about that. Bring on the football. Bring on the football. It can't happen fast enough. All right, switching gears again. I went to see the new Quentin Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, on Friday. Blew me away. Quentin Tarantino is an absolute master of his craft. And I'm not going to review it now because it's only been out a couple of days. Go out and see it, folks. Go out and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. See Tarantino's take, Tarantino's spin on the Manson murders. 1969 Hollywood. The whole movie takes place over 3 days. Go see it, and I'll give you this hint. Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee. Brad Pitt gets into a fist fight with Bruce Lee. That's worth the ticket alone. That's worth the ticket alone. Go see it. Pick your favorite theater and go see it. Great film. And the soundtrack, oh my goodness, the soundtrack. I wasn't even alive in 1969, but the soundtrack's awesome. Really is. Go see it. Before I go, I do want to tell you that I had an interesting event on Thursday. I think it was Wednesday. my dinner was stolen by a neighbor boy. I had ordered some Postmates, and there were some neighbor boys playing basketball, and they intercepted my Postmates. When the guy arrived, he got out, the kid said it was his food, and the stupid driver gave it to him. And I tried to get out there, but they had a couple of pit bulls and a Rottweiler that were aggressive, so I couldn't get out there, so they stole my dinner. And I saw the kid a few days later, once everything died down. I said, "Hey, you stole my dinner." He was like, "No, I didn't. I just threw it away. I didn't eat it." But that didn't make me feel any better because he planned to eat it, then he threw it in the garbage, so I don't know why. He was still my dinner. I tried to speak to his dad. He wouldn't speak to me. So there you go. My dinner was stolen. However, Postmates did give me a full refund. So that was good. So don't get your dinner stolen by your unruly neighbor children, as I did. So get out there this week. Have a great week. Go watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino, the greatest filmmaker of our generation. And by the way, he's only going to make one more film. He's only making one more film after this because he wants to do 10 films. This was his 9th film. We got one more. Get out there and see Once Upon a Time. Probably my second favorite film behind Django Unchained. Great film. I could probably watch it 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the theater. That's how good it was. Get out there and see it. Pick your favorite film, favorite theater, and get out there and see it. All right? So hit me up on social media. Let me know if you like the podcast. We'll do another one next Sunday. Really enjoyed spending a few minutes with each of you tonight. Hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm at 6-Wheel Cowboy, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Jason Price. Let's interact. Let's keep these things going. As I do more episodes, technology will improve. I'll get better setup. We'll have guests in here. We'll have a great time. I hope you're enjoying as much as I am. And remember, please remain seated. See you next time.